from class 3A1 in 𝗥𝗲𝗡𝗚 School. Today I want to read to you a story named The Little Red Riding Hood by Rebecca Bonder and illustrated by Diana Magnuson. You can see the Little Red Riding Hood is bringing the basket, but why? She must be bringing it to someone. That it must be ill or something. Yeah, like that. And there's also a lesson in the story. Yeah, a lesson. A lesson means that you have to learn something that is important in the story. Now let's see why is the Little Red Riding Hood is bringing the basket to someone. Once upon a time, a kind grandmother stitched and sewed a red hooded cloak for her one and only granddaughter. I will wear it everywhere I go, promised the loving child. And she did. She wore the beautiful garment so often that everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, the gentle old woman fell ill. Your grandmother loves you so very much, said Little Red Riding Hood's mother. You should go to her cottage. A visit from you will make her feel better. You can see her grandmother is stitching her red hooded cloak. Yeah, she is making one for her. And her mother is asking what happened to her grandmother. Yeah, remember? You can see it. She's feeling sick, ill. Let's pack a basket of grandmother's favorite things, suggested Little Red Riding Hood. Her mother took out a basket and they filled it with muffins, cheese, apples, and a jug of fresh milk. Now hurry on your way, said Little Red Riding Hood's mother. Don't dilly-dally, don't talk to any strangers. Yeah, don't talk to strangers. That's like strangers are like thieves. They want to steal something. For example, like money, foods, or anything. And you can see her mother and the Little Red Riding Hood are packing some muffins, cheese, apples, and a jug of fresh milk for her grandmother. Because she is ill, she needs food that will make her stronger. As Little Red Riding Hood skipped through the woods, she saw her friend the woodcutter. She waved to him as she continued. You can see the woodcutter, he's cutting the wood. And the Little Red Riding Hood is waving as she continued on her way. It was a beautiful day and Little Red Riding Hood walked along happily greeting the squirrels and the singing birds. By the time a wolf appeared from behind a tree, Little Red Riding Hood had forgotten what her mother had told her. And she'd forgotten. It's really important that do not talk to strangers. So I think you will know the lesson soon as we finish reading this book. Hello, my child, said the wolf. Where are you going on such a pleasant day? I'm taking this basket of treats to my grandmother, who is ill, said Little Red Riding Hood. Isn't that kind of you? Said the clever wolf. And where does your grandmother live? Her cottage is near the stream, just past the pine grove, answered Little Red Riding Hood, for she did not know that the wolf was wicked and cunning. Yeah, you see, the wicked wolf, he was really wicked, and he's still wicked, as he like evil, like eating everything made of meat. And the Little Red Riding Hood didn't know that he was tricking her. Aha, thought the wolf to himself. Now that I know where the grandmother lives, I can trick her and the child. By day's end, I will have gobbled up both of them. I am certain your grandmother would love to have some flowers too, suggested the wolf. Why don't you stop here and pick some for her? What a wonderful idea, exclaimed Little Red Riding Hood. And you can see he's tricking her to go the direction to her grandmother's cottage. While Little Red Riding Hood picked the daisies and buttercups up and then bring it soon. because she is packing now, picking up the flowers. Then the wolf come to her grandmother's cottage. She did not notice the wicked wolf sneaking off in the direction of her grandmother's cottage. When the wolf arrived at the cottage, he boldly knocked on the door. "Who is it?" called grandmother. "It is I, your dear little Red Riding Hood," replied the wicked wolf in a soft voice. "Come right in, my child," said grandmother. That mean wolf wasted no time. He grabbed grandmother and gobbled her up in one gulp. Then he put on grandmother's cap and nightgown and settled comfortably into her bed. You can see the wolf is knocking up, and the grandmother can't wake up because she's sick. She can't go up. So the wolf come in, and then he didn't waste any time. He just gobbled her in one gulp because he likes eating by meat. "Oh, my poor sick grandmother," said Little Red Riding Hood as soon as she arrived at the cottage. "You do not look well. Look what big ears you have. All the better to hear you with, my dear," said the sly wolf. "But what big eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to see you with, my dear," replied the wolf. "But what a big mouth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. You can see the Little Red Riding Hood, she thought it's grandmother, but it's a wolf. He's tricking her to eat her. And with that, the wolf jumped out of the bed, tore off the nightcap, and shouted, "All the better to eat you with, you silly girl." Little Red Riding Hood called for help as the wolf chased her around and around. You can see the wolf is tricking her, and he's going around, and the Red Riding Hood is also going around and called for help. And do you know who is helping her? Let's see. The woodcutter. Yes, the woodcutter who happened to be nearby heard Little Red Riding Hood's cry. He rushed inside her grandmother's cottage and hit the wolf on the head with a branch. The wolf fell to the floor. "I think he has eaten my poor grandmother," cried Little Red Riding Hood. The woodcutter immediately cut open the wolf's stomach with grandmother's skewing scissors. At last, grandmother was free. She gave Little Red Riding Hood a big hug while the woodcutter still sewed the wolf's stomach back up. When the wolf awoke, he saw the woodcutter, grandmother, and Little Red Riding Hood standing over him. He was so surprised and frightened that he jumped up and ran deep into the woods. The cruel, scheming wood was never seen by anyone again. "Thank you, brave woodcutter," said grandmother. "You have saved our lives. Won't you please stay and share our lunch?" said Little Red Riding Hood. The three unpacked the basket of treats and sat down at the table together. They laughed and celebrated for the rest of the day, knowing that the wicked wolf was gone for good. That's the end of the story. Now, we want to know what we have to learn in the story. Well, don't dilly-dally, and through the story, we have learned that we have to keep our promises to our parents. Remember what they said. We must listen to our parents and grandparents and do not dilly-dally and do not talk to strangers. That's the end of the story. Bye-bye. I will see you next time.